question, Rania. I think the reason why this gap exists is because there's been a huge push to squeeze profitability. Back in the olden days, most organizations had full-time trainers, right? And then they started outsourcing, and then they cut it because budgets get cut. And now a lot of HR departments are very transactive in nature. Got to make sure payroll works. Okay, got to make sure the annual performance appraisal systems are in place. Got to make sure the HRIS, technical systems are actually functioning. Oh, we're going to put up an employee portable for self-serve, and all these factors to extrude any fat from an organization sometimes has meant that the training is taken a second at the same time, frankly. Some organizations have said, well, we're just not going to invest in people at all. Okay, when we need somebody with a particular skill, we're going to hire them. Okay, and whether you sort of fall into those two or a little bit more enlightened in terms of truly investing in your people, what I'd suggest is this. There is the point in time training that's necessary. Okay, and sometimes organizations don't even do that. People moving into the management ranks, how do we make sure they know how to manage? They've got the business acumen beyond what they did before, right? There's the things that the most senior people are able to get, like coaching, okay? And that's kind of still there. But how do we drip knowledge into the organization so everybody actually can learn and develop the same vocabulary, understand the same concepts at about the same time, bit by bit by bit by bit. And I'm not talking about sending people off for a half day or a day or a 3-day conference or anything like that. But how do we find 45 minutes, for example, call it a lunch and learn if you like, where people can learn an interesting concept, where they can say where there's some discussion, etc., where people are learning as a group, or if somebody can't make it, there's always a recording in the portal. But how do we drip this thing in so that over, say, 2 years, there's 24 sessions where people are learning bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. The Queen Mary, and I don't want to call any organization like the Queen Mary, but it can't turn on a dime. You have to put these little bits of knowledge in, and they will be activated over time. I'll also say that it's very naive to think that if you're going to do a monthly CPD for all hands, or for a particular division or department or whatever, or membership category, that it's going to change everything just by virtue of doing that. One of the things that we feel is very important is that it shouldn't just be that, but there should be what we call micro-learning that happens every week afterwards. So just as an example, what we'll do is we'll do a session on whatever the topic is, communication skills or succession planning or developing your culture, whatever it is. And then every week we'll have like a 3-4 paragraph little tip sheet, if you will, that the organization could send out, maybe put it on the intranet or maybe send it to everyone via email, etc., that reinforces, but from a different angle, what was learned in that monthly session. And the value of this is that yes, you get introduced to the concept, but then it's explored and activated over the next several weeks. And for some people, it's that little micro learning. Yep, take that 2 minutes to read that little bit. Okay, sometimes, for example, it's, well, you know what? I think I remember such and such a few months ago. I thought I saw something about such that. You can go back and take a look at it, right? But I think this is the one of the big challenges is that the one and done. Okay, let's do a monthly thing and expect everyone to sort of get it. It probably won't happen. So if you want to do CPD, which focus on that first word, continuous, means there has to be a lot of these micro learning drips along the way, because that's the only way that you're going to really move the needle.